So first on today's lineup is Bloom Room by Xerox74, 29 plays and a score of 17. I changed the audio balancing a bit. Let me know how you think it feels or sounds. Alright. Like if I turned it up too much, like I changed the compression to be weaker. Let me know if that's too much. Also, at the same token, I've decreased the game volume to compensate because I've noticed during previous streams my volume is not quite as high as it should be relative to game, so I fixed that. And FYI, I know I should have been telling you a bit earlier, but after next weekend's stream and one more stream after that, I'll be going on my my yearly 1-month vacation. So yeah. Jaden is probably going to show up, I don't know, maybe. They seem to be growing less interested in these sorts of streams. And Buster at tail end, of course. They unfortunately missed out on the relay. I know they would have a lot to say, especially about the later levels. Welcome back, Tail Maniac. Ah, yes. Because Roll can't dash forward with this until she hits solid ground. As in, solid non-gimmicky ground. She's gonna keep flashing. But her but it has a funny interaction with these things now. And if you shoot, well, that interrupts it. Go away. There we go. Thank you, Tail. Now, how's the weekend gaming been, everybody? I know there's a recent Nintendo Partner Showcase. Really, the main interesting things I see are, the co-op anime game, whose name is, I think, Tailspin? Something? That's not it. The Super Bomberman collection, so now we can actually play Super Bomberman R. We can now play Super Bomberman 5 in the West without having to import the card or use other techniques. And I guess the new expansion / DLC from Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I'd like a bit more elaboration. Great is fine, but I decided to take in terms of gaming, I decided to take this week a little bit easier. I played some more Gunfire Reborn. I got back into Helldivers, especially with the new chapter resuming. I mean, especially with the new chapter starting. Probably gonna play the new update from DRG or Deep Rock Galactic sooner rather than later. I see you. I played a little bit of Repo last night, or Repo. Oh no. But I can't do anything because this has infinite ammo. Hey Buster, you're here a lot earlier than I expected. How's the schoolwork going, or how did it go? Oh, that's wonderful. In regards to Mega Man Relay, I'm slowly posting the episodes. The next episode for that should be released, I think, Sunday or Monday. Of course, it'd be Plant Man. Oh. Plant weak to overwatering. It went well, actually. That's wonderful. Okay, an okay or decent start with a rompy stage, but that's what I expect out of Jidok. Alright, let me add your level to the cute Tail Maniac. Okay. I see. What's DOS? I don't think I'll be playing the next demo of DOS Remake unless something else major has happened, in which case I'll just skip to the major differences. But once the full game comes out, yes, I will cover it. I mean, I might as well. There's not that many new Mega Man fan games coming out. And yes, I will get back to Magmal Tree. I came off a stopping point after finishing as much as Tier 8. There are a few levels left, and the final level of Tier 8 I do want to do a collab commentary because I've heard some things about it. Some very interesting things. Please no spoilers. Hey, I quite enjoy the Magmal series, especially Tree. I technically know who made the top placing entry, but I haven't seen any bit of their stage yet, due to deliberately avoiding spoilers. And knowing me, I'm probably gonna love most of the post-game content. I'm not counting the Green Star equivalent though, that's a extra. Anyway, second up is Crystal Castle by Sunflower Zoomerl, 30 plays and a score of 4. I'll find out for myself. I've heard Crystal Snail a few times, but I haven't heard Gemini Man for a bit. I play these levels with Roll because usually she doesn't get that much time in the limelight. Base with his double jump would make it a bit too easy, and Proto Man, well, he's Proto Man. And Roll doesn't tend to be too much harder than her brothers and Base. Roll doesn't need a damage boost. She already has a Tree Strike Broom combo that armor pierces. That's good enough for me. Not to mention the Charge Broom. Like, if you don't have to deal with long-range foes, well, assuming base is a base roll kit, we're not counting special weapons because that rectifies that issue. But with just the broom and you don't have to deal with long-range foes, she's pretty good. I dare say she then becomes one of the best characters for combat. I think I missed something up there. Crystally. For example, it means that dealing with these armored foes actually becomes a cinch. I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm not going for that. Too risky. Thank you! Before anyone asks, yes, I'll do the demo for next remix and sometime in the future. That's gonna require 2 streams though. Unless I get extraordinarily lucky. Well, I'm not getting whatever's on the other side then. Speaking of the easy button, this crystal golem is falling apart. It is a bit much, I do agree. Oh, pfft. That's certainly one way to hide some of these enemies. Oh no, not this. Excuse me? What happened there? Oh, blue lava. But see, I stood on it. See, it was already frozen, I was able to stand there, and then it just activated the ice cube, and then I died. Oh, did it also send me into the ground so I got crushed? Frozen ice lava, though. Oh! Okay, never mind, it was the tackle fire. Okay, that's what happened. It unfroze the ice lava. I don't think that's jank, I wasn't paying attention. That's what happened. Whoopsies. Ah, why are these weapons organized like this? I wish I had the magmal trait of being able to reorganize my weapons. It'd be awesome. Oh no! Okay, okay. Plant barrier, where art thou? Oh, that's wonderful. I do understand that, but I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to where the tackle fires were coming from. Let me just skip half the section, thank you. I'm missing the side areas anyways. I think I know where the first one was, I just skipped it by accident. I disagreed firmly with that, Buster. If only because it takes us. I firmly disagree with that, Buster, because I much prefer doing that over opening up the menu, waiting for the loading time, switching over to the weapon, scrolling over to the weapon, and then turning it back out. The problem with Maker is that, well, almost every level, practically every stage has a different ordering for special weapons. Whereas in the classic games, the ordering is the same, so you can memorize it that way. Here, the memorization is not really allowable. If it always had the same order, I would have an issue. No. See? 2 weapons back, 2 weapons. 1, 2. 1, 2. Really, the issue with using the quick weapon swapper here is more of a symptom of how each level creator can choose their own weapon order. I think all the Mega Man Classic games do better with it. I love oatmeal. But do you know what I would like on top of the quick weapon swapper? The weapon wheel. You know, the one introduced in Mega Man 11? That allows you to switch to any special weapon much faster. Or just do it the way Mag will treat it, with how, on top of having the weapon wheel, you can manually assign which slots each of the weapons are on that wheel. Not to mention, be able to reorder the weapons manually in the menu, but that also affects the quick weapon swapper. actually a good mechanic. I say both the quick weapon swapping and the weapon wheel are good mechanics. But what I want the most is being able to reorder my special weapons. Because being able to reorder them affects everything. Pausing, quick weaponing, as well as the wheel itself. It's just such a nice quality of life feature. I don't really use it much in Magmul because I'm so used to quick, but it does come in handy. Well, some things were standardized. Which part of Mighty Number 9? But yeah, going back to the original point, I think which classic did Mega Man X, was Mega Man X the first game to introduce quick weapon swapping, or was it a different one? Whichever one it was, I'm really thankful they made use of the extra buttons. The reordering weapons? Yeah, that's one of the very, very few good things about that game. And I'm glad several games actually took that. Like, I understand why there's a default order for weapons, but it doesn't work for everybody. And IMO does feel arbitrary. It does often feel arbitrary. I was talking about reordering the weapons. Well, okay, I was talking first about reordering weapons, which Mighty Number 9 had, one of the very few good things it did. Then the quick weapon swapping, which was X1. Weapon wheel was Mega Man 11. Wait, X4... Wait, X4 introduced what? I'm confused. Number 3 up is How Long Can I Make It Level Before New Year's by T-Prof. 18 plays and a score -1. I wouldn't blame you, Tail Maniac. Oh well, yeah, as for Sun 4's level, it is a bit hard on the eyes. It is pretty hard on the eyes, but it does feel more like a surmountable it feels more like an interesting challenge than Genok. I know I keep using the word interesting too much, but what I mean is, it actually forces me to engage with the stuff and is not just super straightforward. It could be less straightforward with the droppers, but I'm seeing that he didn't want to make it too difficult. I heard about that, Darkfin. Oh, I missed something in the... I know it's a bit of a brain fart moment, but I missed something here. What were you talking about Mike Game when you said that X4 introduced something? What did it introduce? That's me screwing up, not you, for now. I feel like our trains of thought derailed and I'm trying to get it back on. I'm trying to re-rail it. I played Mega Man 3 and honestly I found more use to the 3 weapons. Then again, I don't really use most of the special weapons in 3 and 5, so eh. Well, I got more use to 3 because, well, I don't have the super powerful Mega Buster from 5. Oh, this is pretty. Why did this get a Oh, that's solid. Oh, you mean the weapon switching? That was X1. Like, X1 is the first game to introduce it, and all the other X games following it have it. And the reason why they were able to do it is because they had extra buttons, and honestly, a good quality of life feature. Power Stone charge, yeah, I can see that. Even if Mega Man 3 has two weapons that don't really work as intended, I'm guessing what you're referring to is a Spark Shock and, what's the other one that doesn't work? I still got more use out of the 6 ones than 8. Oh, Top Spin. Top Spin is really funny for how it's programmed. Like, it was fixed in the Wily Wars, but in the base game, yeah, that was very interesting. I guess part of the main reason why I didn't use the special weapons as much as I did in 3 is because, well, I had the supercharged shot. Okay, that is rude. Well, now it consistently works, though. Thank you, Raccoon. It tracks the ghosts of enemies. Oh yeah, Super Arm and Deep Digger. Super Arm is even worse off because of how even more limited its uses are. Which it makes me sad. I don't necessarily hate the weapons, I just would rather use a different set. And again, it's not too difficult to fix them. See Mega Man Maker, which pretty much fixed all the Mega Man 5 weapons. Yeah. Like, if you just gave me the same Buster from Mega... If we didn't have the charge on Mega Man 5, I would probably just use... If I didn't have the charge on Mega Man 5, I'd more heavily use the special weapons. In Mega Man 3, of course, no charge shots, so that's why. That's why when you're designing your special weapons in a Mega Man game, you have to be careful about what your how strong your default weapon is compared to them. Like, if the charge shot's that good, and you don't have access to stuff like the weapon wheel or quick weapon swapping, why use special weapons unless... Why even use special weapons? Outside of perhaps special use cases like weaknesses. Oh, I'm already past it. Oh, okay, that's cool. That makes my lot. I didn't think it would break the rings, too. Need a hand? Nonetheless, I'm just happy that multiple games have figured out how to fix the 5 weapons and make them more enjoyable for all. Oh. Let's see, what would your weakness be? Not tire. Okay. No. Acid? Yeah, it's acid. I know I ate an E-tank and wasted it, but Oh, where was the check? Oh, okay. I see. Oh well, looks like Buster's not gonna complain about that. Excuse me? Wait, the checkpoint died? Wait, what happened, Professor? You know what, there's something else I could have done. Where is it? I know you said he put a checkpoint, but where is it? Go back, go back. Okay. That works too. I just went by the left side. Did it get deleted? Oh, okay, I now see how this is really useful against him. I guess this is a maker moment where somehow an update deleted that. Or the checkpoint was placed right in the middle of the terrain where it just auto-deleted. Actually, let me just take a look and see what's happening. I'm very curious. Well, Jewel Santa has the power of deflecting shots back. That's why it's another top pick. I'm sorry, and being able to counterattack is nice, but being also able to blink off most shots is also nice. But yeah, there are ways you can manufacture levels so that one is better than the other. I'm waiting for the long retort from Buster about complaining about how the 9 weapons are either too powerful or they suck, or just overrated. Okay, let's see this. No checkpoint here. The only checkpoint in the stage is... Was it? Here. Map. So we go down this way, and no checkpoint here. No checkpoint here either. I'm guessing it was supposed to be like here or here. Or if you really want to be safe, do it like this way. There we go. Board up is Great Rockers by oh wait, I'll use a horizontal one. Hang on. Before I do Great Rockers, I should do Round Robin, so Tail Maniac, you're up next. Board up is The Last Airship by Tail Maniac, 26 plays and a score of 10. Oh my guy. Roll's time to shine yet again. You know what? Let's give it to Roll. It does make the stage harder, but she doesn't get that much time to limelight anyways. Base would probably have the easiest time, judging for the first 30 seconds of the stage. You know what? Let's do Proto. Actually, no, we're not doing Proto. Okay, base it is. You know, I would do this as Roll if she didn't have the dodge roll because, well, you know, it makes platforming worse for her. It's kind of sad that she has, of all the 4 characters, she's the only one who has a capsule upgrade that makes her worse. Outside of very select scenarios. Of course, the best character here would either be a tie between Proto Man and Base because Blues has the Supercharge, or Proto Charge, which just makes mincemeat of everything. The only weapon that's better in my arsenal would either be the Freeze or the Magma Bazooka. And, well, Charge Kick and Treble Boost, but that's a little bit different. Like, if a stage is more combat-oriented, I'm gonna favor Proto Man with the Proto Charge over Base. Even with weapons, because the Proto Charge outclasses most of the special weapon arsenal. But here's the thing, even with the Freeze Cannon, I can just combo it with the Proto Charge, so yeah. I wouldn't say Base feels like a hard mode for Maker. For me, it tends to be either Blues or Roll. But that really depends on... Most of the time it's Blues, especially if they give him Blues aka Proto Man, if the designer gives him double damage. Roll depending on how platforming heavy the stage is, or if enemies have to be dealt with at long range, and you don't have weapons. Mega Man and Base, on the other hand, they tend to be on the easier side. Even if Base doesn't have access to the double jump, the dashing does quite help with platforming. But if you're talking about based off of the base armor and abilities, I say, it's a toss-up between Blues and Roll. Mega Man without Slide and Charge Shot is true hard mode. Yeah, I can see that. Charge Shot's doable even without special weapons, but sliding, Without sliding, that makes the experience feel a lot less smooth. It also makes jumping off the sides of platforms much harder for me. Now, if we're talking about Proto Man with double damage and no Proto Charge, That's very hard mode. Oh, well, pff. Hi. Goodbye. Yeah, hitbox extension. You did capture the sunset. Oh, as for Professor Tornado's level, why I got the number down as it did, I guess it's due to that first section with the wire adapter and the missing checkpoint. Blam. We have the Proto Shield, but the Proto Shield is, frankly lackluster and doesn't make up for taking double damage. One of the fan games which does make it very useful is Mega Man Beyond. Arguably that makes Proto Man a little bit too good. Oh no, yeah, if I have the weapons, I'm gonna use them. It's probably remote mine, knowing my luck. No, it isn't. Charge kick? Trident. The way Beyond solves the Proto Shield problem is that whenever you're shooting, whenever you're not shooting, the shield stays up. If you're jumping, the Proto Shield's up. If you're standing still, the Proto Shield's up. If I recall correctly, or at least when standing. I mean, Base gets the really easy version of this fight. Oh no! We blew up the fortress and now it collapses. Falls out of the sky. Kaboom. There goes the last airship. They've all gone extinct now. Good job, Base. Yeah. Like... Nah. Like, if you decide to put Base at his weakest form in Maker, he wouldn't be the hardest character. In most cases, he would not be hard mode. Or if he is hard mode, then everyone else is going to have an even more painful experience. Like, there are very few scenarios where I could see the other characters at their weakest form outpacing Base, but that requires some very particular enemy setups. And yeah, with Base, they usually mitigate the problem with the Base Buster dealing half damage by just using other weapons. Now, your dash jumps, and especially combined with the double jump, they're amazing for platforming. That's why I say Base is the best for platforming. Okay, let's get back to Professor Tornado with the Great Rockers. 10 plays, score of 2. Being able to fire in 8 directions is pretty handy. Like, it's kind of a bit more complicated. When you're talking about combat, it gets a bit more complicated because it also depends on how bulky your enemies are and whether they're directly in front of you, above you, or in more odd angles. Base is a master of dealing with foes at more odd angles. If he had fully omnidirectional aiming, he'd be even more powerful. I dare say that his boss would become kind of overpowered. Can you imagine, for example, Base being able to fire in 360 different directions? Oops. Oh, hi, Jarshot. Yep, and that's called Axel. Luckily, those tend to be more combat-oriented. Actually, let me rephrase my statement. Luckily, they're more balanced around that fact. Well, at least X8. I prefer not to talk about X7. And shots can go to terrain as well, yeah. Which I know a few levels have made use of, but most of them don't. Axel stronger. The situation with Zero is kind of sad, yeah. But yeah, X is really... he is overpowered in X7. Axel as well, but the problem with Axel is that you need to... the problem with Axel is that in order to get him to an overpowered state, you need to collect enough upgrades for him. Stop sitting on me, please. And by the time you and before the time you can even do that, you unlock X, so why bother? It doesn't help that you have to button mash to use Axel in X7 instead of having the auto rapid fire. There is? Why isn't that set by default? I mean, I did realize that during Legacy Collection, but that is something that's really bizarre. Why isn't it the default? And that's even dumber because that really should be general options because accessibility, because can you just imagine having to button mash with Axel, the character whose weapon is supposed to be rapid fired, for best effect? I don't know what Capcom was thinking with that. Then again, I say that for a lot of decisions X7 did. It also doesn't help that the Western release of X7 is technically worse than the Japanese one. Because of how the bosses were rebalanced. Yeah, like, it explains why many people I talk with saw the bosses as such slogs, because, oh my gosh, they really didn't need the HP buffs. Like when I play X7, I'm probably gonna play the Japanese version with the English patch because no, I don't want to deal with those HP values again. Yeah, in the Eastern versions, their HP values are actually much more reasonable. Oh yeah, also other problems, the loading times, which really affected the boss rematches. Punch. If you played the more of the Eastern versions of the balancing, X7 is way better. Like, if someone's gonna play it, just play that version, or version N. You need to stop saying oatmeal because that makes it sound. You're making it sound. You're giving it the opposite intention of what I have. My main issue at X7 is how slow it plays, the control issues, and the camera. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know why X7 plays like... Hang on a sec, let me finish the boss fight, then I'll explain. I have a few things I need to explain with that. What is wrong with you? Let me get me out. Oh gosh. Okay. Let me finish this boss fight, then I'll explain what I mean by the play. Okay, got full refill. Oh gosh, why? No, seriously, what is your weakness? It changed. You made this... Okay, I'm gonna take this a moment to explain. Level design-wise, I think it's a bit of a step down compared to X4 and X5. Well, let me rephrase that actually. It actually does have some interesting level thematics. I say sometimes more so than X4 and X5. My main issue at X7, with the levels specifically, not counting the control issues or the loading, it has to do with the overall slowness. Like, the game, most of the time the game feels like it's playing at 50 to 75% speed. Like, when I first played the game, I thought, huh? What happened? Is my device lagging? Like, compare for example how X7 versus X8 plays. X8 feels like it plays at a much faster, plays at actually a regular speed. Now, even though technically X7 and X8 look like they have the same running speed, it has to do with the size of the levels, the camera, and various other factors which make X7 feel sluggish to play. I have X7 is my second least favorite X game, but I like most of the music. I guess, for me, though, I just wanted to beat X7, so I just trudged on and, oh yeah, also English audios. The English dialogue's worse than Japanese dialogue for... Like, what happened to High and Art is a tragedy. Like, the English dialogue is memed on, rightfully so, but the Japanese one, oh my gosh. He's a Reploid slowly going insane and crying out in pain. Hence his repeating the words. Okay, let's do this again. And that's my thoughts. The version N on romhacking.net, that does improve the game quite a bit. Is it the equivalent of X3's Project Zero? Is it the equivalent of X3's Zero Project? Not quite. But give them time. This is probably gonna end up being the hardest stage. Wait a sec, can I... Man, I wish I could just checkpoint in the middle of the boss fight. That would've been great. That's hilarious, Sunflora. Oh, okay. I forgot I have that. Oops. That'll make my life a lot easier. Okay. Gonna have to be more aggressive with that. I do get a life refill, but that boss combo is brutal. But yeah, that's just my rant about my second least favorite, the mainline X game. Axel is at his strongest in X8 and Command Mission. I'm gonna eventually play Command Mission, probably in MU because I want fast forward due to certain things. If we ever get a remaster, I'd like them to cut down the number of pauses in battle. Alright, round 4 or 5. Anybody else have any topic to raise other than Mega Man? Okay, land. Yes, yes, heal, heal. Okay, Ah, just one off. The problem is Quickman's boomerangs and then his very damaging shots. I just don't like X6 or X7 at all, either. That's why, whereas with X4 and X5 I'll play the extreme mode equivalent, for X6 I'm just gonna play hard, probably. X4 is my second favorite X game, if we're talking about if we're not counting ROM hacks and stuff. But I can see why people would find it kind of bland, because it does feel in many ways like X1 second attempt. But fun is really subjective too. Even if a game is technically more competently put together, that doesn't necessarily mean a player will like it more. And that's all I'll say. I don't want to go into another diatribe of my thoughts on all the X games, please. That's why I'll relent about X7 and say it actually has some more interesting... Oh no. Yes, please. Heal, heal, heal. Of course, this is the moment he decides he wants to jump all over the place now. Oh. One does both of them in, thank goodness. It wasn't made clear. And I wasn't sure if there'd be a fourth phase or something. Oh boy. This stage went by swimmingly or smoothly until we got to the 3-phase boss fight. I can deal with Darkman 4, is it? And I can deal with Quickman, but together they make a formidable combination. That being said, I want to see someone else take another stab at an X7 styled game. What I mean is a 3D styled Mega Man X game. I know there is Proto Droid Delta, which I'll eventually cover someday later. That does fix some issues I have with X7, but also introduces its own fair share of them. Like, it definitely feel, at least to me, feels better to play, but outside of controls and camera, it kind of feels like level design took a hit. I know I also recently played Mega Man X Badlands and Mega Man X... I have to check the name of that city. Oops. Hang on. Oh yeah, and... Maverick City, I think. Yeah, Maverick City. Thank you. I need to rename that file. I covered Mega Man X Badlands and Mega Man X Maverick City. They're also 3D Mega Man X games, but they're not in the style of X7. They're much more in the style of an open-world superhero action game. I would also like to see someone else take a stab at it. Someone who actually knows how to use the engine it was made on. Like, the ideas and conceit are there, but oh my gosh. The amount of lag was crazy. Lag and slowdown, and I have a pretty good reason why it happened. Long story short, I suspect they didn't actually put their physics calculations in the right area. So they ended up running on every frame instead of... So they ended up running on as much as possible instead of acting at a fixed number of times per second. Oh, Yanmark stage outside of one jump, I actually like an X6. But that jump is an easy fix. I'm trying to pick someone from, I'm trying to pick something from someone who I don't usually see. You can do it with unarmored X, I agree. It's... the one blind jump I'm talking about is more because the camera doesn't automatically pan down. If it did, there'd be no issue. The problem with that one jump, I feel, is that the camera doesn't pan down correctly, but that's an easy fix. You don't have to change the level design, you just need to change where the camera pans. Okay, 6th stop is A Little Trick About Invisible Gimmicks by Buried Talent, 79 plays and a score of 50. Like, if nobody does it correctly, I feel like then it becomes a problem in the game. Oh? I see. In that case, the game doesn't exactly teach the player that you should pay attention to the rollies. I see. Okay, save. Right. Not yet, Genok. There's more to that stage than just that. As long as I don't open the pause menu or switch my weapon, I'm safe. I do agree if you pay attention to rollies it'd be safer, but the game doesn't properly teach the player about that either. Whoa. This is why, and I know you'll I was facing the wrong direction. I thought I was facing right, but of course. This is why if someone's playing X6 for the first time and they don't want to play the base game, I highly recommend playing with the tweak patch. I know Buster will disagree with me with that, but for most people, they'll have a much better experience. I know, that's a separate rant I want to get into, but I'll say that for later. Oh my gosh. There are many things you can teach players without the use of explicit text boxes, but there are also many things which feel like they'd be better taught if they had at least some more direct guidance. But there is an overlap between the two, and that also depends on the players. Neat. Let me rephrase this because I want to make something clear and it's a bit of a rant here. There are numerous things you can teach players in games. When I say things, I mean game mechanics, enemy AI, systems, etc., etc. You can teach many of them without the use of explicit text boxes, just by leading them on with intuition. But there are also many things which you can't. But there are also many things which are difficult or super tricky to teach that way unless the players have already encountered similar things before. In those cases, some more explicit instructions would be handy. But of course, there's a large crossover between the two, and it also depends on the audience you're targeting and the players. And I know this is getting a bit ranty, but in the olden days of NES and SNES, we also had manuals, the Nintendo Hotline, and paid walkthroughs. I'm trying to find the name of that because I want to be accurate in this. Mega Man X6 tweaks. And the best part of that one is, if you don't like some of the tweaks added by this, you can use the tweaks patcher and individually select what you want. Anyway, the manuals are pretty cool, and I'm a bit sad they've died down. Alright, this trick was neat, so I'll give it a thumbs up. It's a simple stage, but it was just to showcase that. One moment, I'll be right back. We are back. Alright, 7th up is Scrap Slam Junction by Mako Man. 54 plays, score 29. I'm trying to check out levels made by people I haven't seen before or don't commonly see, as I already have a feel of how the other designers, which I'm more familiar with, are going to design their stages. Yeah, unfortunately, as I keep talking about, Maker's old, and a lot of the old faces have vanished, so, we're gonna see a lot of the same designers repeatedly. And it's risky to check out the new level queue because no one else played those levels, because most people didn't play those levels before, there's also a later chance of scrap. Scrap that may be made out of love, but still. I'm trying to my best not to use slot. I'm trying my best not to use slop because I've been realizing more and more in 2026 that it's not really accurate, and it's honestly, with how much effort people put into some of many of these projects, I really should be commenting them more. Like, one of the things I want to put more effort into, especially with Let's Plays, is to better explain my thoughts on things, especially not just on game mechanics, but the overall characters and story, as there are several story-based games I do want to cover this year. More story-oriented games, I'd say, not ones that just have excuse plots or plots that are easily excusable, which aren't necessarily the same things, by the way. Again, the one game where I really delved into the story quite a bit was Dead of a Wish, but it's been a while since then, and I do need to edit the last half of the game too. I can see that, Buster. I miss people, for example, like Nicolasse. They were my favorite Maker level designer. When I eventually play X8, I'm gonna be swapping between the character duos. I've pretty much all but settled that I will be doing a Mega May, where I cover all the numbered classic titles in a semi-marathon-like format. So 1 through 11, probably including End Base. I'm not going to cover End Base 2 because, well, 12 games. And no, they're not all going to be on the same day. Otherwise, the later games are going to have some issues. And are they going to be fully accurate, the summations of the games that delve into their production details, what have you, with detailed breakdowns of levels of bosses? No, of course not, I can't do that. Not in that setting. But I will try giving more detailed thoughts of those games, comparing what I initially thought about those games versus what I think about them when I first played them several years later and then during the marathon settings. I'll probably bring in some help for the later sections, though. I already covered the Mega Man World games in the past, Professor Tornado. Extreme will be covered in its own time. Extreme 2 specifically. This was an S stage. And the Game Boy games are not part of the numbered series. I should clarify, numbered mainline series. I'm curious about this. When they said Extra Faithful, are they gonna have the same resolution as Game Boy? Man, I remember... Yes, of course. Man, I remember remember when I first played, man, compare the loading times of Maker in its early heyday to now. Now you can actually see what is actually loading up, and for most of its lifespan, the loading times were kind of bad. But now they're really good. All thanks to better optimization. And that's certainly one way to do it. I don't remember the game... I don't remember the Game Boy not having screen scrolling. This kind of is reminding me of Mega Man Atari now. With how every section is just one screen long, technically. Well, pseudo one screen long because of how the teleporters work. But it does break up the continuity, so everything feels like bite-sized one-screen challenges. Which can work, see Mega Man Atari. Ah yes, the 5-minute loading times, or worse. The improved loading times really affected the larger stages. For the better. Way for the better. Hey Pluto, was Pluto's original stage this short? No, it couldn't be. Yeah, I guess there's a missing asset. Well, at least this is a bit... I know this is basically trying to be a stage recreation, but at the same time, with these major differences, it does change the feel of the stage. And hey, props for having something a bit different. I know. Darned by the faintest praise. Which is funny because it shows that the stages in World could be bigger. I thought there would actually be more level. Wait a second. Did Patio send any of the levels in? I need to check. I don't want to leave them hanging. Oh, what happened, Jaden? Gotcha. They're being a bit busy. Huh. Interesting, Lepadio isn't in today. Okay, I will try looking for the level. I'm delaying a bit because of the next game, but it'll be coming. Give me a second. Is it? Okay. Ninth up is Trust of the Ocean Floor by V-Kit. For 6th place, score 16. Gonna be a shorter level. It's interesting here. It's quite interesting discussing Mega Man here because it feels like a simultaneously interesting or fascinating and simultaneously weird microcosm of the Mega Man Classic fandom. Classic and X. Like, I wish some of my buddies over at Team Almanac could join me, but they're not really available in the mornings. Outside of special circumstances, but we'll get to that. Hi, Nuclear Stomp. Welcome. Like, there are plenty of also cool indie games I like to cover, but I know, especially as Jaden's talked about, not enough viewers who attend those streams. Which is a shame because, as much as I like Maker, it does get boring from time to time. That's why, as some of you may noticed, more often I've been breaking up the streams a bit, or doing Maker on every other week. I don't know how people like Mega Marino can keep doing it. With people, for example, like Simple Flips and Mario Maker and similar, well, they have a bigger audience to play off of. Not to mention they also cover way more than just hacks, and not to mention they cover hacks and ROM hack. Oh, excuse me. Down we go, I guess. Not to mention they cover ROM hacks and fan levels from more than just those from Mario Maker. Fair, fair. I guess. I branched out from more than just Mega Man because I don't want to pigeonhole myself. It's a similar reason why, for example, Shadow Rock ZX covers more than just Mega Man stuff now. One of which is Burnout, the other one of which is, you don't want to limit yourself too much. Like, as much as I like the Mega Man Classic, X, and most of the overall franchise, it does get a bit bleh. And compared to certain other franchises, it gets a bit difficult comparing talking about the games as individuals versus each other, versus certain other franchises, Sonic, where talking about the individual games is more interesting. That's my That's my response at that stage. True. I am waiting for... They are almost certainly going to play that frog-inspired Super Mario 64 game. Which I know I covered too, but yeah, maybe in the golden era, maybe in the more popular era of Mega Man, there had been more content coming out. But compared to the Mario and Sonic fan gaming and ROM hacking scenes, most fandoms, most scenes, including Mega Man, just can't stand a candle. A new hack or fan game comes out more than just one per day. I say in terms of the fire hose, Mario's a bit bigger, but even with Sonic there are a lot of notable titles that you could easily just subsist off of one or the other. Whereas with Mega Man, well, the release of a new ROM hack or fan game is more notable nowadays. But yeah, Mario and Sonic's fan content just very much eclipses most others. And not just that, if we're also going to include stuff that's adjacent to those fandoms, especially the Sonic side, oh, you can subsist for decades. Like, plenty of the games indie games I covered are technically adjacent. That's also I found my best friend group. But yeah, let's do this. Like, if I ever get too tired of Mega Man and I want to really branch out, I'll be playing some of the I'll play at least one or two of the notable fan games from Mario and / or Sonic. Heck, I did promise years back that I will cover the Mario buys Milk quadrilogy. And Psycho Waluigi is definitely there because I want to cover Thai Cutlery. Tenth up is Cobalt Forge by Player77, 64 plays, score 27. Like, Thai Cutlery is amazing, especially as a freeware game. I initially thought that was just paid, but no, it isn't. Press button, raise lava. Press button, lower lava. Really, the thing I want the most is more active viewers on the non-maker streams. One where we can bounce about ideas, jokes, memes, etc. It's part of the reason why I enjoy the Steam Next Fest. It's a large part of why I enjoy the Steam Next Fest streams, and especially the Sage streams. Plenty of new faces and old faces. Plenty of a combination new and old faces to discuss things about. And cool ideas to be seen. Like, although Sage games in general aren't as polished as many of the Next Fest stuff, for good reason, the roughness is also part of the appeal. Oh yeah, as a reminder to those watching, tonight I'll be covering or sampling some demos. Super Ally Crush, speaking of Mega Man related, as well as Bandit Night. Whoops. But you are... Alright. But you are right about one thing. Whoever said that. I do need to cover more Mega Man inspired indie titles. And not so indie titles. Thank you, invisible person. Eddie? Hello? Are you okay? Thanks for the M. Yeah, but the way things are going, I don't think we're gonna get a really smashing level. So I'm gonna take a risk here. And take something from here. Well, let's hope. It's not so much I want a good experience, but that's really a plus. It's something I want to have something to discuss about, something to bounce off of, something that's fascinating or engaging. Oh, neat. Let's do this one. Yeah, let's end off with this one. So, the 11th and final level of the stream is In Between Henceforth by Nuclear Stomp. 4 plays, score 0. Hi. Maybe I should pick something else because I think I know what this is. Oh my god, it's a jumping challenge. You know, play jumping jacks. If I can just land there, I can keep jumping and I'll make it. Roll's foot just keeps touching that and she dies. I need to tap jump. Do I have to move to the right? God. See, here's my thing. I just want to do one jump and then I'll treat this as a success. That's it. I just wish our hitbox was a bit smaller. Because it's very rude that it just, well, it's a circular, that's what the problem is. If I jump too high, I also get hit by that. I'm not gonna try being this, I just want to do one jump. There. I can see why Nuclear didn't send this to me, because this is someone for, like, this is Marino. Like, this is Bad Time Simulator. So yeah, now for me, something for, like, Marino. Pain. I know, it's kind of a bad place to end off on, but, I could do this, but I doubt it's gonna be like 5 minutes, so let me dig through this list and see if I get one last thing to at least end on a mediocre note. Sure, let's end off with a bit of an older stage. So the 12th and actual final level stream is Gravity Bomberman by Rock'n'Roll 555, 335 plays and a score of 157. Impressive getting this many votes this late into Maker's life. Right, Coil. Oh, Gravity Man. It's one of my favorite teams from that game. When you get a demo available for that game, Buster, let me know and I'll be happy to cover it. Sample it, whatever. Release one in time, Mike. I feel like you missed a sentence there. Hey Lepadio, you're kind of late, unfortunately, but next week I'll be happy to cover your stage. I'm gonna end off my levels here right now because I do need to cover a different game soon. The one that J8-Bit worked on. Neat. This already makes it one of Rock'n'Roll's better levels. TBH. The designer, not the game. Hey Jaden, welcome to stream. What's with the ... We're gonna be starting that indie game in about 5 minutes or so. Is everything alright on your end? No, the Reddit sniper got Mike. Take your time, Jaden. Don't overstress yourself. Learn to pace yourself, otherwise you'll burn out. This could be pushed a bit further with some of the mechanics, like having a better climax. That's something I complain about many stages. But compared to Rock and Roll's usual fare, this is one of their better outings. No offense. So up vote it gets. So, overall, of the 12 levels I sampled in today's morning stream, my favorite one would be Crystal Castle by Sunflower Azumarill, with an honorable mention going to the stage I just played by Rock and Roll 555. Surprising that, after ending off on a bit of a downer note on the Nuclear Stomps level, Rock and Roll's outing just kinda saved it. So thank you. And thank you to everyone else who submitted your levels to me this week, it's really appreciated.